Hello, my name is Michelle McAllister, and today we are going to discuss the integumentary system. This is my card for today's date, and these are going to be my note cards. There is nothing on the back of either one of them, and I am going to try to do my best here. I don't know why this makes me so nervous, but it does. I'm hoping once we get this one out of the way, we'll be in business. So, the important thing about the integumentary system to know is that there are two major components: the cutaneous membrane, which is the skin, and then the accessory structures, which includes hair, nails, glands, and there are multiple types of glands, but we can get into that. They include the sweat glands, the mammary glands, and exocrine glands, which are used for secretion. So, two major components are cutaneous membrane and our accessory structures. Another thing to note about the integumentary system is that it contains all four tissue types. There are epithelial cells on the surface, underlying connective tissues. There are smooth muscle tissues that are controlling the dilation of blood vessels, as well as the position of that hair that is on the surface of the skin. There's nervous tissue that's going to control the muscles that move that smooth muscle, and then also that's important for sensory receptors. Note, our accessory structures are important. The hair that protects the skull, which is also known as terminal hair, and that vellus hair, which is that peach fuzz that's going to aid in sensory touch, that kind of stuff. We also have the glands, which thermoregulate and excrete waste. We also have the nails that protect our fingers and toes, which sounds simple, but when I was reading that they protect from distortion, that was an interesting take that I thought was interesting. So the layers of our integumentary system are going to be the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. Our epidermis is a single layer of cells that is stratified squamous. It's got four cell types: our keratinocytes, Merkel cells, Langerhans cells, melanocytes, and the layers are in order: the stratum basale, the stratum spinosum, the stratum granulosum, the stratum lucidum, and the stratum corneum. So for thick skin, they will have only four layers. That stratum lucidum is absent, and the other five will be present for thick skin. Our stratum basale is a single layer of cells. It is mostly composed of those basal cells that we read about. Melanocytes are also found there. That's where you'll also find the ridges that make up our fingerprints, these dermal ridges. The spinosum is several layers thick. That's where you'll also find more melanocytes and those Langerhans cells that are so important for our defense system and our immune response. The granulosum is an important layer because it's the last layer where all cells still possess a nucleus. You'll see moving forward that the last two do not. The lucidum is the one that's going to be missing in that thin skin. You find that on the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands. That's the one that will be missing in the thin skin. So our last layer, which is our most superficial, is going to be the stratum corneum, and it is actually a layer of dead cells, and it provides that water resistance but not waterproof quality to the skin. Our dermis consists of two layers. It's going to be the papillary and reticular layers. That papillary layer is loose connective tissue. It nourishes and supports the epidermis. It's thinner than our reticular layer, which is going to be a meshwork of fibers and connective tissues. And within that meshwork is where you'll find the blood vessels, the hair follicles, our nerves, sweat glands, and sebaceous glands. That's also where you'll find collagen fibers that do extend into the subcutaneous that provide that strength and elasticity for the skin. The reticular layer is also important because that is where we're going to have those touch sensors that are going to detect touch, pressure, pain, vibration, and temperature. So our last layer is going to be that subcutaneous layer, the hypodermis, that is loose connective tissue that its most vital role is to stabilize our integument, the entire system. So then for our clinical role as far as the integumentary system, the great thing about the integumentary system is that it is it's an initial impression when patients come into the office. So I work in electrophysiology. When I have patients come in and they don't feel right, I'm looking at their skin tone. If they're flushed, is their blood pressure high? Perhaps is the device functioning incorrectly? Is their heart rate too high? If we have patients that come in and look pale, is it possible that they're not moving oxygen fast enough through the body? Skin can be a fantastic indicator of where to start when looking at how to reprogram a cardiac device or just overall health.